Hi guys, it's Mandy here. So I wanted to talk to you guys about something that sort of came up a short while ago. I was just, when I opened my web browser, I saw an article. You know how the web browsers tend to just have like news articles on the front page of them now. I saw this article saying this girl had committed suicide because she had been rejected by her therapist. I wasn't surprised by that, to be perfectly honest. I mean, I was a little bit shocked, but I was not surprised, to be honest, because of the fact that having had therapy myself 3 times already. I have experienced what it's like to be rejected by a therapist, and I'll tell you, it did hurt because of the fact that as a patient, you develop a sense of trust with the therapist, because my first therapy sessions were face-to-face with a person, and they obviously were asking me very personal questions. They had to know my history. I went deep into what happened to me as a child. I went deep into my family history, and it was they had to learn a lot about me to be able to help me through what was going on. So I had to trust this person with this very deep information about myself. And then, so after my first bout of therapy, I came out thinking, oh, great, I'm cured, la la la. And then I had my second bout of depression, and I wanted to go back into therapy. And I called up, the therapy people to try and rebook with her. And I got my rejection. I got a rejection 9 months later, saying, not even directly from her, but from somebody else who basically told me she won't see me because I'm not sick enough, basically. And to me, that was a huge gut punch, because I was like, I just spent 12 weeks or whatever it was, basically spilling my guts to you, building a level of trust, and now you're telling me I'm not mentally unwell enough for you to help? So my mind went into extreme resentment, anger, hurt, and even considering the fact that I had to make myself sicker just so that she would have to see me. For a while, I almost didn't want to ever have therapy again. And so now, having seen that article, I was not surprised, to be perfectly honest, that this girl committed suicide from the rejection of a therapist, because I had 3 sessions of therapy, and obviously not with the same person, because I had to be passed on to another person, and unfortunately it was during the time of coronavirus, and I had to have a session with her over the phone. So I didn't even know who the hell I was talking to, but I then had to re-explain everything that I had explained to the first person and try to build up my trust again with this person. But I didn't feel like I actually had any trust in her. I just had to go through the motions of telling her these things. So I didn't feel like I was really in good hands, as it were, because I didn't know who the hell I was talking to, and because I had to relive everything and explain everything again. I was just sort of like, ugh. I didn't feel like she was actually going to be able to help me. I just went through the motions, and every time she told me to go and do an exercise, I wouldn't bother doing the exercise, because why should I do an exercise for someone I don't even know? I can't see who they are. I can't tell the only thing I knew was that she was a woman. And, you know, you can't really help someone over the phone when they're dealing with issues that are emotional and mental issues. Yeah, so, and, my third session of therapy was basically with a private therapist. But again, I had to find a different therapist to do that, because of the fact that, first therapist didn't want to see me because I wasn't ill enough, and the second person, I didn't know who the hell they were, so I couldn't get back in contact with them. And it was, it's this sort of system of, oh, once you're done, move on and find somebody else to look after you sort of situation. And so when I went into the private session of therapy, at least this person did a online session with video, so I could actually see who I was talking to, and I could gauge their responses to what I was telling them, and to see whether or not they actually understood what I was going through. And if something was happening to me, they could actually see what was happening in my physical body, so that they could calm me down and deal with it. But and I'm grateful to all these therapists for having helped me, but I just wish that I had been able to have one therapist to deal with all this stuff, because from my experience, my depression has been going through different stages. I went through the fear stage, I went through the anger stage, I went through the unhappiness stage. It goes through different stages, and I'm having issues constantly, and it doesn't help when the person who you've just been talking to is not interested in getting back into it with you, because they don't think you're unwell enough, or they've decided to go and take a break. Not that taking a break is a bad thing. Obviously, dealing with mental patients is very difficult, and you obviously need to have a break and la la la. But from a receiving point, when someone's got mental issues to begin with anyway, being rejected can be very painful. But to be rejected by the person who's meant to help you? Frankly, I'm not surprised this girl committed suicide. Because, like I said, when I had my first rejection, I went through stages of feeling resentful and anger and hurt, and like I said, I questioned whether or not I needed to make myself worse just so she would come back. And so I think there needs to be something going on here. We need to have a discussion about the fact that therapists do reject their patients and just pass them on like an old shoe. I don't think that's really fair to the patient, because if you were physically ill and you went to a doctor, everyone has a GP, and they are assigned a GP that they normally go back to every time they're ill. But if they had to just be passed on to different doctors every time and have to explain their whole medical history to them every time, they would get fed up. They would just, what's the point of going to a doctor when they clearly don't give a damn about you? They're just doing it for a paycheck. That's what it feels like. It feels like these people don't actually care about you. They just want a paycheck, and this is something that they do to get a paycheck, and it doesn't make you feel like you're important. Like your health is important. I can understand totally what it felt like to be rejected, and I think there needs to be a discussion about this, because, like I said, being rejected from anything is painful enough, but to be rejected when you're mentally unwell from the person who's meant to be there to help you, it's just a huge gut punch to your sense of trust in people, especially because, like I said, I had to build up a sense of trust with this person. And, ever since I have sort of, well, I don't suppose I have gotten over it in a way, because it still hurts to a certain degree when I think about it. It still hurts to think that I was going through something so emotionally difficult and she didn't want to see me. It still hurts. And I know that, yeah, you get people who specialize in different things. But again, that wasn't really made clear. It was just sort of like, when you're ill and someone says you're not severe enough, you're not in a severe enough state of depression or to be seen by a doctor, you're not thinking rationally. You're just thinking, they don't want to see me. Oh my God, there's something wrong with me. That it's all you. You're just thinking, oh my God, I'm not bad enough for them to want to see. And that wasn't good. That wasn't a good state to be in. And I still feel hurt and resentment towards her for not wanting to see me. And I think, I think there needs to be some kind of change in this situation, because it's not helpful to people who have mental issues. And it makes me wonder how many people have killed themselves or harmed themselves as a result of being rejected by a therapist. Who knows? But anyway, I hope those of you who are struggling with depression do find help, and I hope you get over your whatever issues you have, and I really hope all the best for you. So